The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building a buying, selling a home, the real estate crew's got news for you. Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us at the Real Estate House Party.
Give me a break. Where the heck is Tony V? Where is Tony V? I haven't seen him in weeks.
Tony V promises he's going to come back. Should we introduce anyone first, or just go off rails
Well,
already?
I want to know what Tony V is first.
I'm Christine Hurley.
Yeah, Christine Hurley was supposed to be here today, but I just called her a second ago, and she's on the ski slope, and evidently she skis pretty quickly, but I don't think she'll be here that quickly.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Well, what are we, chopped liver?
She answered her phone on the ski slope.
Yes. It's about 62 degrees, and she goes, I completely forgot. I never did this before. I go, okay. Well,
Okay.
But Tony V.
That's why she's a comedian.
Yeah.
Tony knows better.
Tony knows better. He's in Aruba.
Yeah.
So I told Kathy last...
His 600th Aruba gig.
yeah,
this year.
I know. So 3 weeks ago, I said, Tony, my son's asking for you. People are asking, where are you at? He goes, I know, I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. And then the next text is, I'm really sorry about that. And the following text was a little video of him on the back of the boat with his hair blowing back, a big ass cigar. And
He looked sorry.
Yeah, he
right?
looked real sorry.
Yeah.
So
Standing there in a dressing robe.
Well, he had to stand up for 40 minutes. He has a tough life.
Yeah, exactly.
It is rough.
So Tony V was supposed to be back next week.
All right, I'll hold my breath.
Christine Hurley says she's making it up to us. I'm not sure when she'll be back, but she'll be coming.
Okay.
I think you, Kathy Holtshouser, paralegal extraordinaire, could probably do a lot of Christine Hurley.
I probably can.
Maybe not on the show, but
I practice.
you have your wine flask right down below you.
Yep.
And you've been taking your Slim Fast with straight vodka, right?
Yep.
And what else? They
call that a skinny Slim Fast.
Yeah.
Like a skinny margarita.
And who's this talking? Mike Procopio from Procopio Construction.
We missed you, Mike.
Yes.
I'm glad to see you back.
I've been off in the weeds.
You've been off in the weeds. Yesterday was President's Day, and today is Extrovert Day. All right?
Extrovert was not the word.
Mike
It wasn't the word.
All right, so the two of you can wait all show and have no conversation and deliberate.
No, we're good.
All right.
We're good.
We're going to move on.
It's laughable.
And what about me? Today I am spreading sunshine
everywhere.
to everyone I
Sunshine.
meet. Everyone I meet. So I give you a big smile, and
You are sunny.
if you want a hug, I'll give you a hug.
Well, I'm all hugged out. My in-laws were in town. My brother-in-law's Down syndrome, and hugs approximately once every 3 or 4 minutes. So,
yeah, all right.
I'm
so
hugged out.
I got my Mike Procopio hug, but no. If you want a hug, I'll give you a hug or whatever. I'm just here to make everybody happy.
We thought on the way down we had a title issue, and she said, I'll give you a hug. We'll work through this.
It'll make that encroachment go away. One simple hug.
It was really nothing. I said we have way bigger problems.
Do you ever get title problems at the last second?
I get them at all seconds.
I know.
The first second, the last second.
I know.
I've got one right now. The seller swore up and down to me, no, that easement's gone, cutting right across the middle of this piece of property.
Oh.
No, that's gone. You can put the building over the whole piece of property. Don't worry about it. Surveyor comes back, easement's still there. Title exam comes back, easement's still there.
Right.
How do you get it gone? You just get it released by whoever grabbed it.
People put it on.
He thought it was some
Okay.
land court thing that happened automatically. I don't really know how land court works sometimes, but apparently this was some automatic thing that was supposed to go. I don't know.
So your first lesson is don't always believe your seller.
That's a good point.
Yeah, never believe your seller.
The other point is the seller should be doing a title search if he's going to be representing something like that, I would imagine. If he says there's no easements on it, all you have to do is a title search.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And don't be representing this stuff. So,
that's Rick's been so for 29 years, okay? And I'm not knocking you at all.
I know.
Rick has been saying these simple things like if you're going to put your house on the market, you better get a title search. Make sure your mortgages are discharged, right? Because has that ever derailed a closing of yours?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're calling a seller. I need the discharge for this. I don't have it. No,
They
the
say,
bank sent it to you.
Yeah,
Go
they
dig
say
for your 15 years worth of records.
we're moving, and I've thrown everything away because we're moving, right? So in reality, that discharge could have been in the stuff that they just.
Our opinion is there's 10 steps to a closing, but the way people do it is just out of sync, I think. They do the title search at the very end.
Yeah, within days before the closing.
We have one lender that refuses to order a title with us until they've approved the loan.
And then they say, we're closing. We want to close on Friday. Where's the title work? Well,
you ordered it a day and a half ago.
It's on an examiner's desk at the registry. You go chase it.
And they have no idea what a title problem is. So,
and it's a 50-year title search, guys, right? So it's not like something that can be done in 2 hours. Or maybe it's 2 hours, but maybe it's 2 weeks if it's a huge subdivision.
I'm feeling a lot better today. We're getting a lot off our chest right now.
No,
you're right. Absolutely.
So my point was, Rick Carter has been telling sellers, real estate agents, everyone that would listen, you got to get your title search done, right? And he was offering a 2-owner rundown to
no cost.
No cost.
I don't
free,
know. I don't know.
To ward off
no thanks. We'll waive.
Right. Like when it seems like too good to be true, it probably is. But in this case, it's not.
You know what it is? It's like, and you guys probably aren't Seinfeld fans, but Kramer in Seinfeld, greatest character. In one episode, he got into this where he wanted to drive around in cars until he ran out of gas. That was like his surge. He just kept driving around. It was like a rush to him. That's how I feel like brokers are. They like that rush of having problems right at the end.
Not this broker.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I can't imagine anyone wants that.
But I don't know why you can't do that at listing stage. When someone's about to list their house, when they're staging the house, when they're doing photography, why don't you just do a title search?
Yeah.
So make our lives. Let me ask you this one, because we keep asking this one. You're very astute in the real estate world. Do you think sellers, and I'm not professing to this, but do you think they should do a home inspection before they list the house?
Oh, we could get into it.
Do I think they should do a home inspection?
Yes.
Before the house? Absolutely not.
Okay.
Right. I agree with Mike.
There is like a level of insanity in my industry of all these brokers and salespeople running around telling people to get home inspections, which is just like a giant disclosable pack of troubles that they now have.
Yes, I agree with that. It came up in a broker seminar last week, and believe it or not, 50% of the people in that or more in that room thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and it wasn't my place. It wasn't my place to get into an embroiled argument about it.
Who was doing the seminar?
I was.
Carter,
and I threw it out.
You asked him.
I asked him.
Yeah.
And I told him, no, don't rush me at all. But would you do a home inspection?
And it was a 1 second, and they were hands shooting up all over the place.
And what were they saying? Oh, it just gives me information.
Here's one thing they're
what
saying.
In the world is there?
So most people,
because the initial reaction I have is that's a whole batch of brokers that don't understand disclosure laws.
Right.
I agree with that.
They just don't understand what they have to disclose. They would not want anything to do with that.
The thing is, once you know about it, from the home inspection, now you have to disclose it all, right?
Yes. And essentially what the law wants is you to greet the buyer at the door and say, hello, prospective buyer, guess what's wrong with this house? This, and go down 75 things. Now would you like to buy my house? No.
Right. The onus is on the buyer to hire a home inspector.
Caveat emptor, baby.
I agree. I am so happy that you brought that up, Rick.
All right, so a lot of people said what you said. The opposing view thought that, all right, say you're selling $1 million house. Yeah. It's not brand new, though. It needs work. It needs like $50,000 worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
So what house doesn't, though?
I know, that's the point.
Okay, let's play this out.
Okay, go ahead.
So no, keep going.
All right,
we got $1 million house.
We got $1 million house.
It's not brand new. It's 15, 20 years old, but it's $1 million house.
They say you need a roof in a couple of years. You need this, and this. I am selling for $950 because I know there's problems.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sell it to you as $950. But what I don't want is you now doing a home inspection and saying it needs $50,000 worth. I know it needs that amount of work.
Right.
Okay.
But I don't want you now saying I'm going to offer you $900,000 because it's $50,000 worth. I already told you
because they got the home inspection, and the home inspector said now that this is wrong, the roof needs to be replaced.
So here let me deconstruct that from the broker's side. So that's crazy talk. in any market remotely close to what we are.
Right.
Because if it's $1 million house, it doesn't matter what the home inspection says. It's going to sell for $1,001,000.
Right.
It ain't going to sell for $900. It ain't going to sell for $950. And a simple seller's broker is going to say, home inspection for informational purposes, and do not negotiate with me, right? There's no, like, why would they start with that negotiation? Like, oh, that's basically a seller sitting down with a home inspector and saying, I'm going to negotiate $50,000 with myself. I think that's a good place to start. That's crazy.
Right.
Now, in a
Put
buyer's...
it out for what it's worth.
Okay, so
And
now
if the
let's
buyers
go.
want to fight about it, let them.
Now,
Let's go to a buyer's market.
In a buyer's market, would you have the same suggestion?
I would, just that I would still say no. I would still say I do not want. I would never want that liability.
I agree.
So let's take your $1 million house, and you are living there blissfully unaware. You do not. You are unaware of any. Maybe you think it needs paint or something silly like that. Yeah. You're unaware of any major issue, and you bring a home inspector in, and suddenly he discovers that you've got a $175,000 mold problem in your attic because you had a leak in your heat ducts.
Right.
You now have to disclose that.
Right.
That no longer that went from being where you were blissfully unaware, and someone could have come in and not had a home inspection and bought the house, and you've got zero liability. You did not know, and your broker did not know. And now suddenly you've created an environment where you have to disclose a $200,000 problem.
Right. You just rip yourself off.
Maybe you've bankrupted yourself. I mean, depending on what you owe, that's just a crazy position for you to put yourself in.
All right, here's another one. Here's another one that came up that day. Seller's description of property.
Yeah.
Do you always have your sellers fill that out? Actually, why don't you explain to us?
No, so it's a form. It's a standard form that we have in the real estate industry, and
which is optional in Massachusetts.
It's optional. It's not required.
It's not mandatory?
It's not. No.
Oh, okay.
No. Some offices make it mandatory, so it's not. It's not mandatory
for their benefit.
They think.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. So for their benefit as a broker, not as a seller, which runs afoul of Of are you working in your best interest or your client's?
Can I ask a question? Once a seller fills out that seller disclosure, does it become when I say public to the buyer, or if it's optional, or is it just...
Theoretically, it does, because once the broker is aware of it. So if you're the seller and I hand you that and say, fill this out. Basically, it's a form that has 30 questions about the house. How old's the roof? Have you ever had a flood? Have you ever had mold? Have you ever had this? Have you ever treated for termites? If so, when? All these questions. So the seller fills it out, signs the bottom. It's a legal disclosure from the seller of everything about the house. So now you hand that to me as the broker. I now have an affirmative duty to disclose all that information. So yes, essentially it is public, because I now have to tell everyone, basically instead of telling them we give it to them, that form, here's everything that's wrong with the house.
Right.
So your duty to disclose as a broker is a little bit higher than as a seller.
Sure. The seller does basically. I mean, you can answer the legal question. They don't have to disclose anything. As a broker, as soon as I find out, I have to disclose it.
You don't have to disclose what you don't know.
Correct. As a broker, I do not want to know anything.
So do you require that seller?
No.
Because you don't want to know.
The reason is the last question on the form.
Yes.
What is the last question?
Is there something to the effect of, is there any other pertinent fact related to this house that may impact a buyer? Right? It's just this catch-all legal minefield.
It's a blank check.
It's a minefield. It's a blank check. And if you answer no to that question, no, I'm unaware of anything, and then some little thing comes up and they depose you, and they find out that you actually did see a little stain on the ceiling or something, now you're open to all the liability.
Yeah. Okay.
So you guys have hit all
I box my people
the correct buzzwords. So in Massachusetts, we have a caveat emptor state, which means buyer beware.
Right.
So there's very limited things of what a seller has to do. Probably lead paint, and
certain disclosures are required by law.
Right, you got to get a smoke detector, and a condominium, you got to get 60s. There's things like that. But unless asked, and we're going to qualify it, each situation's a little different. But unless asked, then you might. Certain things you might not have to disclose.
You can't lie. You can't lie. You can't commit fraud. If somebody asks you, have you ever had water in your basement? You cannot say no if you have in fact had water in your basement.
So let me go.
Let me just finish that last form. Changes that whole caveat emptor state, because on that very last paragraph, as you're mentioning, changes caveat, because it says, "Do you know of anything?" So all of a sudden, anything that
So if there were direct questions, right? No. But then the direct question: Do you know of anything else?
If that last paragraph was not on that form, I would make everyone do the form.
Correct.
Okay.
I would absolutely make everyone do that form.
Correct.
So
and I have seen forms. I have seen people that take that form and redact that last paragraph, that last question.
Right.
And they black it out and they use it. And now that's not an official form. And I'm sure the associations would go bananas if they knew that people were doing that. But I've absolutely seen that. And I thought to myself, oh, that's good. Because it discloses the stuff that people actually are interested in. Look, how old's the hot water heater? Like, that is really not a catch-22. It's a $1,000 item. So, like, did you put it in 2010 or did you put it in 2004? Like, what do we got here? But it avoids that last question. And I would use the form at that point.
So if you had water in the basement as a seller at one point, like in 2012 or whatever.
2006, Mother's Day flood.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone had water.
Everyone had water.
Yeah. So nobody asked you the question. You don't offer up the question.
No.
You don't offer up the information,
No.
so you're not doing anything wrong. But the minute you fill out that form, you've.
I tell people basically this is basically like you just got arrested, right? Anything you say can and will be used against you. So keep your mouth shut. If you run into a buyer, keep your mouth shut, right?
Right.
If you're asked a direct question, answer it honestly.
Right.
But don't go shooting off at the mouth. Don't go telling them where you think the property lines are. Don't go telling them what you think might be the spotting on your phone. Just keep your mouth shut. In fact,
I love it.
I don't even want to see. I don't go to I will not go to a home inspection.
Right. Because then,
unless it's
if
my
you
buyer.
know, if you're the listing agent, and then they say, oh, the roof, this, that, and the other
listing
thing.
agents tracking along behind a home inspector like you are flat out. You are basically not working in any way in your seller's interest because you finding out that information is not in your client's best interest.
Right. Because you could have just lost them $20,000 for a new roof.
Everything you see, it's one thing. So if you get a home inspection report, say you have a disaster home inspection, everything's wrong, right? Everything's an F on the home inspection, right? It's one thing to take that form and say, look, the buyers are backing out because the furnace is shot and it needs a $10,000 furnace. Okay, that's an easy fact to present and disclose.
Right.
The problem is if you tagged along at that home inspection, you now not only have to disclose that buyers backed out because it needs a new furnace, you have to disclose that the buyers backed out because the stair stringers were cracked and because there were termites found out back and because the septic system's not working and because the roof was leaking and because the bathroom on the second floor has an ineffective. Right. All of these things you saw, you have to disclose, or you're open to get sued. And the number, we all know how this works in a lawsuit. They're not going to get anything from the home. They're going to go after the broker.
Right.
They're going to sue the broker. They're going to sue the lawyer. That's just,
right.
They're not going to get anything from Joe homeowner. They're going to come after my insurance.
Because of 93A. So we are also seeing this where sometimes sellers' description of property are sometimes too specific. I had a situation like that this year where the buyer's moving in, says the seller, well, I got water in the basement. And the seller says, no, I already disclosed that in the seller's description of property. They go back to the seller's description of property, which is that list you were talking about, and it said in there was a little water in the corner of the house. Sometimes they're too specific. They should have just said, listen.
Yeah. Right, because now the water is someplace else.
It was right in the middle.
So it's not in the corner.
Don't be a jailhouse lawyer and try to outthink it.
Right.
Look, if you're going to have them do the form, they got to do it honestly.
Right.
I tell people all the time, no extra information. Just answer it honestly.
Right.
Have you ever had water in the basement? Yes. Do you remember specifically how much it was? Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 inches. It didn't cause any damage to my appliances. Okay, you can write that. That's a good fact to have.
Right.
Then people aren't thinking you had 3 feet of water in your basement. But if you start into that, there's some minor seepage in the left rear corner. Well, that's not disclosing the real problem. I mean, you're trying to make it sound like it's not what it is. It's fraud. I mean, you're.
And what I always try to tell brokers is about disclosure. It's not really the information that's the big problem. It's the timing of it.
Yeah.
Just tell them, especially in this market. In that seller's market, just tell them, all right, I got water in the basement.
Yeah.
Do you not want to buy the house?
No.
I got 92
Shockingly, I live in New England. I have a house with a fieldstone foundation that was built in 1900.
Right.
I get water in the basement.
Right.
So does everyone else.
Right.
So just disclose it, and then, as opposed to the day before the closing, oh, by the way, I might not have mentioned this, or weeks after the closing. So I think it's more of a timing.
It is.
As opposed to the information itself.
It is a timing thing, and it's just about what, I think brokers lose sight. I shouldn't say brokers. Salespeople lose sight of whose best interest they're working.
Of course.
And unfortunately,
they get wrapped up
in the deal.
Yep.
They want to get to the closing table because they think the deal ends at the closing table. The deal ends long after the closing table.
Right, because they're going to call you.
Because they're going to call you, or their lawyer is going to serve you.
Right.
Neither of which is a good situation.
Right.
It's far. Maybe that comes from a perspective as being a broker owning an office. It's my insurance, but it doesn't end at the closing table. The salespeople think it does because they get
their money, right?
They get paid. They close the deal. Well, the deal falls apart. That's not.
No, you're hitting a big point there because we talked about it at our seminar. And I said to buyers, the brokers, I said, why don't you have us ask us about an offer? It's a binding contract. The deal's done by the time you get me if the offer's already signed. Yeah. And a couple people raised their hand and they said, well, a lot of times it's over the weekend.
And we're rushed. We don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time. Are you kidding me? Everyone in there has my cell phone number.
But it doesn't matter. Then if the house sells on Saturday, you table it till Monday morning.
I have a question. Yeah. So then, do you have an issue? Because 90% of these people, it's not. Commercial, everything's a custom doc, but 90% of this residential stuff is all standard form.
Right.
Documents.
Correct.
G-bar documents or MAR.
You're filling in the
documents, fill in the blank. Do you have an issue with people using that? Because I do understand. I'll be honest. As a broker or salesperson, I've never given an offer to an attorney to review on a normal house. Certainly we have on like big commercial deals and stuff, of course.
Yep.
But so there is in this market an element of the time issue.
Right.
Somebody goes, they're having an open house on a Sunday afternoon. They're taking offers Sunday night.
Right.
Some of them are that tight. Now, we could say that that's not, really good business on the broker's part, but it is what it is, right? They're saying, hey, you saw it at the open house at 2 o'clock. We're done. We're picking an offer at 8 o'clock.
All right, so you want my suggestion?
So what do you do? Do you accept?
Here's my suggestion on that then. They should have a game plan beforehand then. They're going to know that it's a rushed environment right now.
Yeah. So they have an open house on a Sunday afternoon. They know in this seller's market they're going to have an offer by 4:30.
And you probably won't be able to call
except at Rick Carter, you could probably find Rick Carter.
And it's a one-shot deal.
781-944-7000.
Yep.
Call me anytime.
What is it?
Conveniently located, right?
What is your number?
781-944-7000. Don't call that other exchange in that area because it's a fertility clinic, and I get all those calls.
And don't ask for me either, because you won't find me
at the fertility clinic.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, they should have a game plan beforehand because what they do is they forget to put key important terms in that offer. One of which I saw this year was it was subject to that seller finding suitable housing.
And what is suitable housing?
Right. So they wanted it they only wanted to sell their house if they could find a new house.
Right.
The broker didn't think that was important and didn't put in the offer. So what I'm saying is if it's that rushed environment that we're living in, you might want to get a game plan beforehand and call us, beforehand then. That's all.
It's just a little bit trickier now in the seller's market because they're getting rid of the financing contingency and the home inspection contingency.
Right. Are you seeing a lot of that?
Yeah, and it's a whole, it kind of runs along the same vein because what we have is salespeople being lawyers out there. Right. We don't need this.
Yeah.
We don't need this.
I always love when they say that.
But it's like,
we don't profess to doing legal conscience. Well, you just did the offer.
You just did the offer and you edited the heck out of the offer. So
you can't have it both ways.
It's all marked up, in PDF Expert. Now you give it to me. Now it's a seller. If I get one of those, believe me, I don't want a financing contingency. I don't want a home sale contingency. I don't want any of that stuff. Clean.
Right.
Yep.
That's a beautiful thing because it protects my seller.
Right.
But let's not pretend like you didn't just give them legal advice. Or you don't need this contingency.
Well, listen.
Okay, if everything goes perfectly, maybe you don't need that contingency. But when they come crying for their $50,000 back, saying pound sand,
or they can't float both houses. They can't. You know what I mean? Like what? I don't really.
We
understand.
see this all the time too. Brokers. I shouldn't say brokers. I don't think a lot of people in the industry understand that commitment date.
No. Yeah, the dates. There's no. Yeah, that's real. Those are real dates.
That's a real
contract.
If you don't have your financing by that date, and you said you're going to have it by February 1st, you can't blow through that date.
I think we beat this
Yeah.
subject up.
I know. I was just throwing out to Mike.
It's a very important subject because what a lot of people don't understand is your financing date is like your commitment date. You can get a commitment letter. Oh yeah, the commitment letter was issued.
Right.
But you turn to page 4.
Page 14.
Yeah, page 14.
Your 65 unsatisfied conditions.
Yeah. And there's stuff that maybe they can't satisfy. Like, tax returns. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to file my 2016 tax returns. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so guess what? The closing's derailed.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Well,
very rarely do you see a clean commitment, with enough time to actually meet.
And the other one is pending appraisal. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a big
Subject
one.
to satisfactory review of appraisal.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you haven't done that yet,
Right.
and you've issued a commitment letter. Like,
So
if it doesn't phrase out, how do you work that? So that's we call us sometime.
I'll tell you
we'll
what
talk about
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what we've been seeing that I've been getting rid of
Okay.
constantly is the line in the offer
Yeah.
that says subject, or eventually makes it into the P&S, subject to property appraising at sale price. So from a seller's perspective,
That's
we're getting rid of that
horrible.
all the
Right,
time. We're getting rid of that all the time. You got somebody who's buying $1 million house.
Right.
They're only putting $250,000 down. I don't care what it appraises at. My
Right.
seller doesn't care what it appraises
Right.
at. What we care about is that you're paying the $1 million.
and if you're overbidding, there's a chance that you're paying
That's the
over
problem.
the value.
That's the
That's a
problem
good
in this
point.
market.
So what I do is almost the reverse. If I'm representing a seller, I say, I don't care what it appraises out. If it comes in at $900,000 and you're bidding $1 million, that's on you.
Yeah.
So you figure out how you're going to take care of that extra.
Right.
What do you see this year? What do you think
I think it's going to be crazy. There's 11 houses on the market in Saugus.
Yeah.
11.
So
70 is normal.
Right.
It's getting. I mean, we've been having these conversations over a year. It's
I
gotten
know.
worse than it was. We
I
said to
know.
ourselves it couldn't get crazier. The inventory
I know.
situation.
I think this year, next year.
it's
well,
crazy.
listen, what is that? Sell high, buy low.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
I have
I
buyer
bet there's a
clients.
bunch of sellers that are gonna switch flip the switch pretty
Hopefully.
darn quick.
Hopefully.
They're
That's
going
what
to
we need.
sell. They're going to sell, and they're going to sit out.
Yep.
Wait for.
Rent.
I don't know whether it's a 10 or a 15% pullback. I don't really think it's going to be much more than that because I don't think we're in a bubble. So everybody's into this real estate bubble thing. There's no bubble. It's not the same as it was in 2008.
No.
There's not all this crappy credit quality.
Yep.
Right.
There's a supply and demand problem, which is
Yeah.
driving prices up.
Yeah.
And I think we can pull back, but I think that's like maybe 10% or 15%. We're not going to see a 35%, 40% bubble
Right.
burst right now. I'm not saying
Right.
you can't get there.
Maybe
but right,
a year
right.
from
so,
now.
So I mean, I think we got 2 years
That's what I think
at
too.
least of this kind of market. There's just too many people pouring into the market
Right.
that need to buy,
Right.
and there's no inventory. I mean, it's honestly just junk. And I think we're going to see a lot more people emptying out their 401ks, trying to make these kind of more outside the box moves to get into real estate because the prices are so high.
Right. We just
With
need-
no end in sight.
Well,
no
we
end in
need
sight.
the sellers to step up and put
Yeah.
your house on the
Well, and
market.
I get buyers that come in and they're like, they don't have to buy.
Right.
But they're like, we're ready to buy a house. And I'm kind of saying, it's not like I don't want to help you buy a house, but maybe you want to just sit back and relax for a little bit because I don't know that we're at the peak, but we're somewhere up on the top of the mountain.
Right.
Right. We're in the snowy part with no trees.
Right.
And I don't know whether we got a little more to go or whether we started to come. I'm not sure, but we're up there somewhere. And if you can afford and your life situation allows you to kind of sit back and just keep renting right now, you're probably better off buying in 3 years
Right.
than you are buying now.
When you might get the more perfect house in 3
Right.
years because the inventory is going to change and
Do you tell
the
them that?
prices.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell them.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
for you.
I like that.
No,
I
that's
like
good.
No,
Mike
because but
Procopio.
I apply this even in our own stuff. I mean, we cycle in and out of commercial properties and rental properties all the time, but we make much bigger moves at a point like right now. I would be unloading stuff. I mean, might I be giving up 5% more in upside? Maybe.
Right.
But
right.
I could also be protecting a 20% or 25%
Right.
downside.
Right.
So
Right.
I think we're up at the top somewhere. I don't quite know where that is, but I think people would be smart to kind of start thinking of that.
So what are you doing in
Sell
your
high,
world?
buy low.
Because you're buying a lot of rentals, right?
Well, right now I'm selling rentals.
You're selling them.
Yeah. I'm moving
So
out.
you're unloading your stuff.
Yeah, so we're
At the top,
we're
close to the
focused.
top of the market.
We've got very mixed portfolio. So in
Okay.
the stuff that we own a ton of Class A brand new stuff, and we own a ton of Class B, C traditional apartments, no amenities, kind of stuff built in the 60s and 70s and
Yep.
80s, stuff like that.
Yep.
We're cycling out of that and into the new stuff.
Okay.
Because the market is so good for that other stuff.
Yeah.
The Class B stuff right now, it's just the market's so high.
You probably haven't seen that in a long time, right?
No. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that people just live. These are the exact properties people always said you buy and you never sell.
Yeah.
Because there's never a market to sell them. It was always a cash flow game. Well, right now it cash flows well, but it's also a sales game because it's just you can't the prices that we're getting for this kind of stuff. The cap rates is crazy.
What towns you seen as real hot?
Lynn.
I'm big on Lynn right now
Yeah.
because I think Lynn's the next big thing. You
Yeah.
heard it here first. I mean, I've been saying that forever. Malden.
Yeah.
The redevelopment of Malden is good, although Malden has a residential moratorium. So, I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. But
I think Somerville has a moratorium on condo development, right?
Yeah. Again, I don't know what that's just kind of crazy political stuff. I don't know why they go down these roads of stuff. I mean, Somerville's treating the development like it's a bad thing. It's taking Somerville from Slummerville to what people actually now like want to live in Somerville, and the politicians are all like, "Whoa, we can't have this. We're going to stop all the development." Like, guys, what do you want? Whitey Bulgerback hanging out like on the corner? Like what? Like this is good. This is all good. There's no bad side to this.
Mikey either gains us all. What you ripped apart? I won't even tell you.
A couple times.
Last time we were down to about 4 towns we could close in.
I think we did a number on Lynn.
No, Lynn. I'm good with Lynn.
No. What was
Lynn?
What was the name? That
I remember
Lynn
it was.
Gonna be like
Ocean Park.
Ocean Park.
Yeah.
Ocean Park Lynn.
In like the 80s when they were 90s when they were going to change the name to Ocean Park. It wasn't Ocean Park Lynn. It was Ocean Park. Like it was on the Jersey Shore or something.
There's a big development in Reading near Lakeview.
What's it called?
It shouldn't be called Lakeview because there's no lake right there. So
Where's Lakeview?
it's right near Jordan. Jordan's Furniture.
like-
So right on the corner of Powell.
No, that's Wakefield. But literally, you know what Jordan's Furniture is?
Yeah.
That's a stretch to call it Lakeview.
Exactly.
View.
So there's a big development going in there, right on Lakeville Ave.
It's like Lake Ave in Lowell.
Yeah, or Lake.
What lake is over there?
Some lake in the 1700s was there. Lake Street.
Oh.
So you're selling your rentals.
Well, not you know,
Right.
that's a broad.
No,
way of
I know,
putting it,
I
but,
know.
Like we at this point in the market, we would be cycling out of that kind of stuff and into the newer stuff.
So first time buyers, give me some recommendations for them. I guess it
Right now,
Yeah, I guess
good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Because
There's
they're
nothing
going to
out
get inched out of any
There's
kind of
nothing
bidding
there.
war,
There's
right?
nothing out there. First time buyer, unless they are a very, very, very well positioned first time buyer,
Which would be what? No house to sell.
which would be no
obviously.
house to sell,
Cash.
no house to sell,
Yeah.
a down payment in excess of the 30%. 40% mark where they can get very aggressive with their price point because they're not
Right.
worried about being borderline. But nobody's like that. That's very uncommon.
Right.
Your first-time buyers are always very tight. They're the people that are going for the 80% at best.
Right.
So oftentimes, FHA 3% down.
They're going to lose every single time.
So we've talked to a bunch of brokers on, well, not a bunch, actually the more astute ones where we keep saying, listen, buyers are getting boxed out, but they need to buy something. Do you have any suggestions for those particular buyers? They've come up with a couple of good suggestions. One is obviously try to buy a house that no one else is able to buy.
And have vision.
Yeah.
So you buy the 1-bathroom house because no one seems to be buying that. So maybe instead of overpaying by $150,000, you put in a $40,000 bathroom after the fact. Or the other thing too is some brokers out there aren't very good about showing houses. Sometimes you get an out of town broker and you'll call them up. All right, I want to show this house on 5 o'clock. No, I can't do it till 2. Those houses seem to sit a little bit longer, which is amazing in this market where if you don't have a broker that's all over this, that's crazy. But once in a while you'll get a broker like that where they're just not showing the house, maybe a little perseverance.
I mean, we have people say to us all the time, well, I'm not interested. It's been on the market 90 days.
Right.
Now, first of all, when I first started in real estate, 90 days was like
that was the norm.
Normal.
Right.
And then in the pit of like 2008, 2009, like 200 days was normal.
Right.
But right now, of course, like 8 or 10 days is too long, and you want, date to offer of 7 days.
Yep.
Oh, I get some
or
sellers
less.
saying to me, my house took 10 days to sell. How come mine took 10? The guy down the street took
It's crazy.
4.
So the buyers, we have people that are discounting these kind of long, stale listings, and we're saying, look, take a look at them. Find out what it is. It might be something stupid.
Well,
It might be some stupid owner who won't mow the lawn.
Right.
Or something legitimately dumb.
No curb appeal.
Somebody that planted, arborvitaes in front of their houses 20 years ago, and they cover the whole front of the house, so it looks like a shanty.
Right.
Just take a look at these.
Right.
Try and figure out why it's sitting on the market. Yeah, could it be a significant problem? Yeah, of course it could be. In which case we stay away from it.
Right.
But maybe it's a easy to solve problem, right? Alternative financing. A lot of these people with traditional loans, they can't go into some of these houses that need major renovations. What they need to look at is the mass housing renovation loan programs that go up to 97%, FHA, the
203K loan.
The 203 stuff.
Creative financing is what they call it, right?
Right. Go into these so it needs a little bit of work, but you can roll that all in up front. You don't even have to move into it until it's done. They'll give you the $200,000 to buy the house. They'll give you the $85,000 to do the work. You move in when it's done, and your mortgage is done. You don't have to refinance or anything. It's an end loan.
Right.
No, it's a great
but
point.
I think, people get very boxed into what they know. They walk into their local bank. Their local bank says, well, we offer 2 mortgages, the 30-year and the 15-year.
Right.
Well, that's not really the case. You need to have a good mortgage guy, and you need to have a broker who's willing to kind of take chances on some of this stuff.
Right.
And
you
get
need
you
to
in.
have a good attorney's office.
There you go.
Did you
And
guys
you
see
got to
the
listen to
time?
the podcast, Easy Money, that's also on this station, right? Easy Money. I think you get a lot of those ideas.
Listen, you guys, we went from having nothing.
Well, to be fair, I went from having nothing. You guys both went from having notes.
There's nothing on here. We just put that down there. So
We went from having nothing to having an unbelievable.
It just says Christine Hurley, Christine Hurley, Christine Hurley.
laugh,
swim
laugh.
fast. Why does she have this ring? Thanks for joining us here. This flew by.
Yeah, that was
This is
awesome.
Attorney
Thanks
Rick
for coming.
Carter here on Real Estate House Party, joined by Kathy Holtshouser, who's been working on and off with us for the last 29 years.
Miss Sunshine.
Miss Sunshine herself, and Mr. Extrovert himself,
Woo.
Mike Procopio. Thanks for joining us, Procopio Construction. See you next week.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.